Hello and welcome to the first episode in our Haunted Mini Zoo series. So essentially, it's been a while since I have actually picked up Planet Zoo to play. Kind of lost a little bit of inspiration here and there, but the Twilight Pack came out recently and I'm a big fan of Halloween and kind of really any excuse to like decorate and dress up and all of that. Love that kind of stuff. So I thought, you know what better way to get those creative juices flowing again and really get back into this than to make a little Halloween build. I don't even know, honestly, a lot of this can be done without the Twilight Pack. There's a few little pieces here and there that I threw in, and like in the second episode, the house that we build also uses the pieces, but I also think you could get away with making this without the Twilight Pack pieces. It was just kind of the inspiration that triggered me wanting to do something like this. So that is basically the story here. So what we're going to be doing is, it's going to be very short and it's going to be very small. So it's only going to be about 4 episodes long. Or it is going to be 4 episodes long, all pre-filmed, but of course along the way, if you have any ideas or suggestions of things I could have done better, just let me know in the comments anyway, because maybe I'll add them in before we do the final tour. But I have 4 episodes and they're going to come out pretty back to back. So all 4 are going to come out leading up to Halloween. And then I think on the 31st, I'll try to post the tour of the final little zoo as well. So look forward to that. But essentially what this build is, so today we're building the haunted cemetery that's going to be kind of the front yard for the haunted house, which is the main kind of thing going on in this little mini zoo. It's just a little walk up to a haunted house surrounded by some spooky stuff with kind of a spooky backyard as well, will be the last episode. And yeah, that's basically the whole idea there. So it's very small, just a little something, but I thought a little something fun for the season anyway. So here, this is going to be broken up into 2 little habitats here, one on either side of the path. Both are going to look quite similar. They're going to be like a graveyard theme, and I am using the new animals from the Twilight Pack, so you'll be able to see them go in when we put them in there as well. But I started off this thinking that maybe I would use those new fences that they came with, and remembering how awful it is to try to use the straight fence pieces for anything other than a straight flat square fence. The ground is way too like undulating here. Plus I made the path curvy to like give it a little bit more character. So I think the chain link fence works just as well here. It's a short fence anyway. The animals aren't going to hop out. So yeah, I think this works perfectly fine. Maybe not quite as stylized as those cool fences are that come in the pack, but it is what it is. I didn't want to spend forever and a day just building a fence around this habitat. But next thing, of course, we're putting in here is all of the dead trees. I was looking at a few reference photos of just like drawings, I guess. They weren't real photos, but like artwork of like spooky graveyard scenes and that kind of thing. And most of it is either like trees that have lost their leaves for the fall, and then like really giant cypress trees of some kind. So that's kind of what I was going for here. I put a couple other really tall ones in just to add a little bit more. And then just outside of the graveyard, I threw in some of the autumn looking trees as well. So overall, I think it sets a pretty good mood for this little area here. And then the big piece for, of course, the graveyard is the gravestones. So essentially, I went through all sorts of like stone pieces and all kinds of stuff, anything that I could like put together to kind of make maybe look like a graveyard or like look like gravestones. So that's basically what I'm doing here. I'm going to just stylize a bunch of them outside of the, actual graveyard first, and then just kind of drop them in and move them around and that kind of thing afterwards. So those memorial plaques, that's kind of what they're for, isn't it? They fit quite well on these fake tombstones, I thought. So it's mostly, oh wow, there's thunder going on outside. Hopefully Hopefully this microphone isn't picking that up. We have dived right headlong into winter here all of a sudden. We had such a nice beginning of like the October. It was so warm here for such a long time, and like now we are just, it is here. Fall has arrived. But anyway, let's not get too distracted here. So I've played a lot with the decals as well, the like damaged decals you can see here. I thought they fit really well on these pieces. I don't know, these decals I think are so cool. They do fit on basically anything. I know they were made for like some of the walls specifically and stuff, but I mean, they look like, they make these rocks even look like they're a bit damaged. So I thought that was kind of cool. That's basically what we're going for. Here is just an old and weathered sort of look. I did not get too creative with the memorial plaques. I probably could have. I know there's a little really cute like spooky things that you can put on those that, you know, puns and whatnot, but I didn't quite get that far. I just wanted to get these guys done, and it took quite a while to make all of these variety of gravestones, but basically, yeah, there's not a whole lot going on to making these other than just those broken decals. That one on the side there, the kind of like moldy one, I thought looked pretty good, but they don't have very many options for that one for sizes that would fit these little tombstones. But a little bit of mold there and a little bit of breakage, and I think these definitely look like they could belong in a really old, very old and rundown cemetery of sorts. So that's basically what we're going for here. But yeah, I think I kind of touched on the overall vision in the intro of this place, but in the second episode, we are going to be making a haunted house to kind of go with all of this. We're going to be using the new bats in there. It's basically just a bat house, but, you know, kind of looks like a spooky old house. So, and the spooky old house is going to be on a swamp. So we're going to do a spooky swamp. And then I'm thinking like a haunted maze kind of situation for the backyard. So every one of those is going to have some animals in it. Some of the ones from the Twilight Pack, some of the ones are going to be some of the animals that we already had in the game. So just a bit of a variety. It's not really much of a Twilight Pack showcase. I don't use a ton of pieces from the pack in this build in general, but it was just the inspiration. Mostly, it was the inspiration behind this. So you could definitely build something like this without having the pack, I think. You could just put different animals in. And I mean, the only trees in here that are from the pack are those really big, like, twisted ones. So I think it would look just as good even if you didn't have it. But I do think the animals that we got in the pack are pretty cool. And I actually haven't even played this game since the conservation pack came out either. So once I get back into doing some other zoos, I'll definitely be playing around with some of the new stuff that we got with that as well. I don't think I really used anything except for maybe a light from that pack in this whole game. So yeah, but I am excited to kind of get back into it and play around on here a little bit more. I think the plan is I'm going to finish, if you are returning to the channel, I know not everybody does, and since it's been such a long time since I've posted, there's a good chance that not a lot of people are returning, but there is a series of a cold zoo on the channel that I actually started last winter. I believe it would have been, or maybe the beginning of this year, but it was around the winter time. And it's a big zoo. It's a big project. And I really only have a few sections left. So I am thinking I'm probably gonna wrap up that zoo this winter. That's gonna be kind of where I'm starting to get back into doing the channel and all of that. So that should be super fun. I love a good seasonal theme. And once, you know, this kind of spooky season is over, basically we dive into Christmas. I mean, what else is there left? I guess it's still autumn, and I know in the States there's still Thanksgiving and stuff, but we already had Thanksgiving for us in Canada. Basically it was Halloween and then Christmas. So I think I'll be getting back to doing some work on the cold zoo after this one as well. And a Cities Skylines Let's Play. I've been playing a bit of City Skylines lately and gotten really into the game, so I think I'm going to make a really cool city. I think I've gotten my like bearings straight in that game, and I've learned quite a bit about it recently. So I'm basically, I'm going to make a first Let's Play of that one and see how it goes. I know usually when you make a Let's Play of a different game on a channel that, like for my channel, for example, it's basically all Planet Zoo. I know I tried to post some of their videos at some point as well, but YouTube just doesn't push to like any new people your different videos that are not the same as the ones that do well on your channel, or like well even for a small channel. But I think I'm gonna try it anyway, try out a City Skylines Let's Play, just because I'm really enjoying that game at the moment and I think it would be fun to film. So if that is something that you're into and you like my videos, make sure you keep an eye out for that on the channel, because it might not push it to you. But that I should be able to kind of start filming near the end of this week, and we might get some episodes of that. But anyway, back to what's actually going on in the video, now that we're not just placing trees and gravestones everywhere. The kind of main difficult build, I guess, for this one, it was this mausoleum, I think is what it would be called. So basically just a little building to go inside of the graveyard that, maybe has some, cremated remains in it, or maybe it's just like a tool shed. It's kind of whatever you want to imagine it to be. But I had a little inspiration photo for this building, and you kind of see there, I was trying to see if they had something like this in the blueprints already, just because I don't know, I thought maybe I could be a little lazy and and use a blueprint that was already there, but they didn't build anything like this for the Twilight Pack. I thought maybe they would, but that's totally fine because I had a fun time building this anyway. It's sort of like a mini, I don't know, it reminds me of sort of like a very mini castle, which is kind of cool. And basically playing around a lot here with the archways and trying to find some good pieces to like make these curves on the doors and stuff. I always have a hard time with this. I've tried to build some like classic buildings before and stuff too that like need these rounded top doors and like really elaborate sort of rounded features, and it's just there's not a lot of options for them in Planet Zoo. And I think a big thing is the scaling, like how you can't scale up or scale down things, so you need a very like a rounded piece that specifically fits the same size as your door, but there's no such thing, you know what I mean? Same with like a roof piece, like that one might have worked for me in this case, but it's way too tall. But we work with the limitations that we have, and I just kind of decided to pick out some options for some roof details and that kind of thing here, just to see what would work the best. I do think that it was kind of cool. This pack came out with a few extra options for building things like castles, which I think is going to help us a lot in the cold zoo, because I want to build a really cool castle in that zoo this winter. So I think those pieces are going to help a lot there, but in this build in particular, they're way too big, like those tower roof pieces and stuff. I just wanted a small piece for the top, which I got here. I mean, I think that what ended up here works perfectly fine. But yeah, definitely a lot of these pieces are a little too big for like a small build like this. But in the end, I think it worked out fine. I got the idea of this kind of roof thing from an image that I had seen as well. It's just sort of a little bit more interesting, I think, than just having the triangle roof. Because usually buildings like this, they have very elaborate, like these faux roofs, right? Because underneath it, the roof is flat, or maybe it's still meant to be angled, I should say, but it's less than the roof, you know what I mean? They always have these kind of like facade roof pieces at the front, so that's kind of what I was going for here. And I think it sort of got the same idea across. Looks just a little bit more interesting than a plain, just straight up angled angled roof piece. I don't know, but that is what we are going with for our mausoleum. The rest of it is pretty boring. Basically it's just the front. After this, the roofs are flat and all of that. So yeah, I had a spooky little light in here, and I think that was pretty much all that we did here. Other than the flat roofs, yeah, perfect. These pieces that came with the Twilight Pack, though, these brick pieces, or these, I guess they're bricks. They're like stone bricks. I do think they're a pretty cool, a cool texture. They look similar, I think, in my mind, to some of the other pieces that we have, but they definitely improved the texture a little bit, I think. This just kind of, I don't know. I love these pieces. The texture works really well on them, I think. But yeah, that is it in its location there. So after the fixing of the ground a little bit here, we got to do a little bit of painting, make it actually look, you know, a little bit more barren. I love the long grass, especially when you kind of zoom up close in there. But I think that the dirt just sort of fits a little bit better. Obviously, even though, I think I forgot to mention actually, this is it's obviously Sandbox, you can see that, but I turn off basically everything. So the whole point of this zoo is just the build. Animal welfare is all turned off, so I don't worry about putting in like feeders or really anything. So we have the very basic staff building, trading center, and a caretaker so they can deliver the animals to the habitats. But other than that, we don't worry about animal welfare in this particular build. I just wanted to focus on the actual building part of it and making it look cool, and it's all just for fun. So most of my zoos, if you are new here, I do usually spend, we worry a lot about animal welfare and like making sure that the plants are correct for them and the terrain is correct for them and they have everything they need. This is just not one of those builds. So just as an FYI here. So yeah, the last thing we're really focusing on here is lighting. So the lighting, it makes a big difference in a place like this, I think. Unfortunately, I went through all of this and then put it on play and realized that these torches like light on fire. So yeah, that was, I ended up having to redo putting different lights inside of all these lanterns because the flames that come off of these things are just insane. They pop right out of the little lanterns. I didn't realize that. I thought this was what they looked like, but no. When you click play, they burst into flames. So I do have to redo that after all of this. But it gives the same sort of effect anyway, as this does. But yeah, I thought these little pumpkins were really cute, the pumpkins that we got with the Twilight Pack. Just to throw a few in, I didn't overdo it. I just thought, if you were building a haunted house kind of thing, to have people come in and check out, you would probably use that, use some pumpkins and some spooky eye decals and that kind of thing too. I'm trying to figure out where to put them, and then I realized we should put some bushes in. So added in some of these dead bushes around. I think that adds a lot to the landscape a little bit here as well, which is nice. But I like these, I like the spooky eyes. I think they look really good, especially they're not super obvious once I add some fog and that kind of thing here soon. And in the dark, ends up just kind of adding a little bit, I think, a little spookiness to the end. But yeah, for the entrance here, I got maybe a little bit lazy. I used the pre-built one. I just doubled it and then deleted the stuff in the middle, obviously. But I think it works well. I mean, it's just a little entryway. It wasn't really the point of this whole build anyway, but mostly just wanted this to be easy and relatively quick, so that'll be good. But love the orange glow on this one. We went for, even after I fixed the lights and changed them to ones that weren't on fire, it's still an orange color theme in this area here for the lighting. For the actual, obviously I did most of the building in the daylight because it's hard to build in the dark, but the whole point of this zoo would be to go to it in the dark. So when we do like the walkthrough or the tour at the very end and that kind of thing, it's going to be, even the cinematic shots and stuff at the end of this video of the graveyard, it's all going to be in the dark. The whole point of this zoo is to visit it in the dark. So that's why I spent so much focus kind of on the lighting here as well. But I love this mist too. I used it a lot here I'm going to use it a little bit in another part of the zoo as well, but I'm not going to go too over. I'm not going to put it literally everywhere. It just looks like that from here. But I think it's the spookiest thing in this game. Like, this game is not, obviously it's not Planet Coaster. Like, it's not meant to have the super gimmicky, spooky ness in it, but I think this like fog is just the best thing. This is where I realized that the lights were on fire and had to change them all. I like tried to put them down. I thought, oh, can I like make this work? It's not gonna work. Even here it looks even worse because it's obviously sped up. Even in real time, it was bad. So I found these little candles, or they're not candles, they're a light. What kind of, I can't remember what they were called. I think they're from a pack. Oh yeah, these are the ones I was talking about. These are the conservation lights. So I stacked a bunch of them so they were a little bit brighter, made them orange, and then put them inside of these, and I thought it gave kind of a very similar effect. So yeah, I thought it worked quite well, and basically, it was easy enough to just move them around. I put them inside of the pumpkins too. They look really good inside of the pumpkins. So if you're looking for something to kind of light up your pumpkins and all of that, that's what I suggest is these lights. You just need to, I had to stack a bunch of them together to make it bright enough, essentially, but they add to the brightness if you stack a bunch of them on top of each other. So ended up looking pretty good, I think. And then I think I did the whole other half of the zoo off camera afterwards, just because I figured that would be a little bit of a boring thing to watch over and over again. And then last thing that really we're doing here, I was trying to figure out lighting for the main pathway. Clearly I did the lighting off camera. I think I meant to film that. But there's blue lighting along the pathway. It's not super bright, so it's not super obvious. But it works out. But yeah, we did the skunk and the wombat in the two habitats here. I know that went by really quick, so you probably didn't see it, but we'll show some cinematic shots of them here. Here is the skunk walking through his spooky habitat past the pumpkins and just kind of enjoying his little stroll here. And that is the wombat. I love these guys. I think they are absolutely so cute. And yeah, I don't know. These guys are gonna end up in some more of my zoos for sure. But yeah, the rest of this is just kind of a little cinematic walkthrough of what we built in the zoo. I think it looks really cool with the lighting and all of that. I think it's gonna tie together really well, obviously, once we build a little bit more. So keep an eye out for the next episode. We're gonna be building the actual haunted house, which it turns out pretty cool. But of course, if you have any suggestions for what I should add to the cemetery or anything like that, let me know anyway, because I can add in some stuff before we do a final tour of the whole zoo. And I love reading your comments and your suggestions and everything anyway. So obviously let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I will talk to you in the next one.